Wouldn't it be nice if all of your data was in one place? Of course, most companies use many different applications and spreadsheets, each with their own data store, so bringing these together and connecting them is no easy task. But a product called dbFramework makes this possible. dbFramework is a workflow system and a hierarchical data repository and central data hub for your business. It offers many interfaces, allowing it to connect to a variety of data stores. It can act as a central hub for real-time enterprise data, providing a web interface for free and letting you add powerful enterprise features like workflow, notifications, and ad hoc reporting with very little work. Today I'm going to demonstrate how dbFramework can be used to share data between two spreadsheets and a web page over a network. Here we have two different spreadsheet files, both using a plugin that is shipped with dbFramework. This plugin lets you read and write data to dbFramework applications in real time, over the network and even over the internet. These sheets are running on the same machine, but they could easily be running on two machines in two different countries. We connect these together by having them share data that is stored in dbFramework. The sheet on the right shows cells that are subscribing to specific locations in the dbFramework data store. We pull this data out using a simple formula. Once each cell is connected, any changes that occur to the underlying data in the application will be reflected in this cell automatically. On the left-hand side, we have a sheet that utilizes some simple VBA to post a transaction to the application. It's just a few lines of code. Underneath the spreadsheets, we have the web interface, generated for us automatically by dbFramework. These are all tied together, so if I modify a value down here, for example, let's say I change the limit to 5,000. We see it update here automatically in the spreadsheet. Now this is more than just a repository of data. We also have business logic in here. We have some calculated fields that maintain a running balance for a number of accounts that we've defined. Because this is a hierarchical accounting structure, something which is very easy to create using dbFramework, we also have calculations that roll up the balances. So that, for example, if we have a balance in car insurance, that'll be rolled up to the insurance category. So let's go back to the spreadsheet on the left. I said earlier that this posts some data to the application. It actually makes a ledger entry in an account. I can type in the payee, the amount, and any notes I wish to enter. And underneath here, we have the path to the specific account that we're posting this transaction to. Then, as soon as I click Post Transaction, you'll see it update in the application down here, and also in the spreadsheet on the right in real time. It'll send that update to any client that subscribes to that data, no matter where it is. You could have hundreds or thousands of clients connected. I've added another feature to our data store so that it can hold an account limit, along with a simple flag that tells us whether it is in breach of that limit. You can see that field right here. Now, using the web interface, dbFramework lets users subscribe to receive email notifications whenever a specific change occurs. A minute ago I set this up to send me an email whenever an account goes into breach. Okay, so the limit for the Ameritrade count is 4,000. That means if this balance exceeds $4,000, then we should get an email notifying us. So let's go ahead and add another transaction that should put our current balance over that limit. Alright, and sure enough we get an email notifying us that the account has gone into breach. And that email contains a handy link back to the record. And now I'm going to post another transaction. to put that back out of reach. One last feature I want to show you is how we can integrate spreadsheets with workflow features. Now, I've set up an approval workflow, something very easy to do using dbFramework. It works the same way as permissions. I've simply set up the guest's login so that the guest is not allowed to enter any transaction that is greater than $5,000 without first getting approval from a supervisor. That seems pretty prudent, leaving aside unauthorized access. It's also very easy to make mistakes when typing values. We have an area here that lets us set up who governs these approvals, and so who will have to authorize them. So let's try that right now. We'll go ahead and enter in a transaction for $9,000, well over our $5,000 limit. Notice the message that we get. It says, requires verification. This action will be verified by the supervisors group. Notification of the response will be sent via email. Also notice how the right-hand side spreadsheet hasn't changed. That's because it needs to be approved first. Sure enough, we received an email that tells us what the user is attempting to do. We can then click on the link in the email, and we'll close this email, and either accept or reject the request as we see fit. Once it's accepted, it'll update the balance as before, right here. You'll notice how this also tells us that it's been accepted and what exactly has changed. We can also easily set the system up to run an approval workflow report each day, telling us everything that required approval the previous day. This is very useful to keep on top of everything important that goes on in your business. Okay, so we've demonstrated how you can not only connect together two Excel spreadsheets on a network, but also how you can add some great features to monitor and control that data in ways that Excel has never let you do before. Okay, I think that's enough for one demo. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out our other videos and also to download a trial of dbFramework to try this out yourself at www.dbFramework.com.